Hi everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Catherine Lorimer's Guide to Life podcast. Sorry, I overdid it with the music there again slightly. Now, I did something, right, that I've never done before. Never usually do this. It's not something I ever do. Let's just turn off the music. There we go. Done it? No, that's it. Right, all sorted. No, it's not that I did a sound check. I did actually do that as well, but that's not what I'm talking about, okay? I listened to one of my podcasts on the way home. Okay, never do it. Never listen to myself back. I did laugh at a few of my own jokes. I'm not sure whether or not that's appropriate or not. I say an awful lot, don't I? Sound a bit like Stevie D, don't I? You know, I'll try not to say as much in the next podcast. But the reason I did listen back to the podcast, which was New Year, New Me, is because I'm going to provide kind of like an update. I thought a monthly kind of analysis rather than just doing this like once a year. I thought actually wouldn't it be cool just to sort of like see where you are, like a bit of a catch up. You know you have a catch up with your manager. Well, I don't, because I haven't got one at the moment. Well, I have got one, but then I see him every now and again. But I've got two jobs and I haven't got a manager with the other one. Well, we did have a catch up with the team today, which was quite good. And I thought, why don't I have a catch up with myself and you guys once a month and see how I'm getting on? Yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to call this podcast. It can't be New Year, New Me, January catch up. How am I getting along? Progressing January. I don't know. I haven't thought of a title yet. It is. I'm before Friday, so I'm sort of the end of January. The only thing I'm not doing. See, I'm doing it already again, aren't I? I'm going. The only thing I'm not doing. I would usually do like a double whammy, and I would do the monthly news rant. I can't do that this month. I'm going to have to leave that to the very last minute because I'm having an extra section in it that says, what's Trump done now? Okay, right. And I want to see if he's bought Greenland, and I can't do that because anything could happen. Anyway, I'm not going to ruin too much from this podcast talking about him. But there we go. So how have I got on? Well, I think I mentioned, I was mentioned that I was going to the Lake District. I went to the Lake District. We had a fantastic time. Not only that, walking wise, we did 3 mountainous walks. Well, hill walking, probably more than mountains. Totaling 26 miles over 3 days. So that's a marathon. We hill walked a marathon over 3 days. Do you know what? It was great. It was just so nice. It was like a little quiet village. We had a few nice pub meals. We ate in. New Year's Eve, we had this most amazing steak. He bought the steak. I cooked it. Oh, it was just absolutely heavenly. And I brought a bottle of wine that I got from my neighbour, and he brought some champagne that he'd had for a long time, and I brought the Chambord to go in it. And you know what? It was just lovely. We played loads of games. Oh, I've got a really, really funny story to tell you, actually. We played loads of games. He absolutely creamed me at Trivial Pursuit, okay? I think I won once out of about 4 times playing. So after this, I said to him, what are you doing, in X date on January? I said, because we always go to a pub quiz, and it would appear that you're actually quite good. And we're usually rubbish. There's usually me, Ruth and Jane, and sometimes it's just me and Jane if Ruth's on holiday somewhere. So I said, it'd be great. We could sort of really appreciate your help. And he's like, yeah, okay, no, I'm not doing anything that day. I'll come along. So I was like, right, that's great. Gave him the pub name and everything. Blah, blah. I sent a message to Jane, and I said, Jane, having my exact text message or WhatsApp message was, Jane, right, having been creamed by John at Trivial Pursuit, I thought he'd be a valuable addition to the pub quiz team, so I've invited him. Okay, right? Anybody listening to this, and you would automatically assume, wouldn't you, that I was talking about my partner, John. Yeah? Would be quite logical to me. No. Jane thought I was talking about Farrier John. Right? Why on earth she thought, and she listens to these, why on earth she thought that I would invite the Farrier? I mean, I did used to drink with him years ago, and he went out with one of my friends, but why would you invite him to the pub? Because I don't know. So this was the scene. Jane and Ruth are sat in the pub quiz. John walks in, says hi to Jane, who sort of goes, oh, what are you doing here? John sits now next to Ruth, who's expecting John the Farrier, who is probably about 30 years younger than John. and quite muscular. Thinking, who's this guy sat down next to me? I wasn't there because I was still at work and I hadn't got there yet. Anyway, it transpires. When I got there, John was like, they weren't expecting me. They were expecting John the farrier. And I was like, oh, right, okay. So I was like, why? And I kind of asked him. But then it transpires that Ruth had actually told loads of people at her yard that I'd invited John the farrier to the pub quiz. So the next morning, I had to message John the farrier and say, look, John, I'm really sorry, but you might find there's a rumour going around that you were at this pub quiz and I invited you. If anyone asks, we won. But, if you do want to come, the next one's on blah. And he was like, and I told him, fortunately, he's got a good sense of humour and he did see the funny side of it and it was all okay. And a message saying, actually, he thinks it's quite funny. Because she was a little bit concerned, but I thought I'd share that with you. It was quite a funny story. Anyway, completely digressing from where we are, but the late just, it was absolutely fantastic. Felt a good sense of achievement. Went to see Beatrix Potter Museum as well. It was great. I just loved it. The little child in me was kind of like wandering around looking at all the displays and all the pictures and everything. And if you kind of like sneak down, you can like see, into like the burrows and stuff. And it's just really cool. If you haven't been, you definitely need to go. And then we had John's birthday surprise. Went to the Gotham Hotel. But it was his 55th birthday. And I think, he had a really, really rubbish 50th. So I thought, do you know what? I think we should start, as we get older, I made the executive decision that we should start celebrating birthdays with a 0 and birthdays with a 5 rather than just birthdays with a 0. So I said, when I get to 55, you can sort something really nice out, for my birthday that year. I said, don't get too excited. We won't be doing something like this every single year. But it was, so I thought, right, we'll do that one. You ever had some screening? I'm old enough. Okay, I was sent a bowel cancer kit in the post, and also had my first breast screen. Okay, they kind of like pick them up and kind of shove them into this box and squash them a bit. Anyway, they've both come back, and I'm absolutely fine. So that's good. I've passed my MOT. So what else have I been doing? Art wise, I've managed to clip Merlin. I've ridden him a couple of times. I haven't booked any shows yet. I made the executive decision because Jane's going away for a bit. On holiday with Ruth. They're going off horse riding in Spain somewhere. And so I thought, you know what? I'll start booking shows after they've been and gone and done that. Maybe one before, but I thought there's no point doing anything in January because it freezes. You never know what the weather's going to do. It's difficult to practice. It's dark and it's cold. So the executive decision is, now I've clipped him, his hair will grow back again and we'll probably do something with him April, May time, I would imagine. And then, I'm doing the old again, aren't I? Right, so I've also, exciting news, after another physio appointment, I've been given the go-ahead to start jogging. Ooh. So I'm going to fit that in at some point. I've got a detailed calendar here. After saying I was going to do less this year, I am doing less, but I seem to have a really pretty full calendar. So I've got a physio exercises to do. I can go and do like a little kind of like run. So I thought quite excitedly, I'll take Pippa out tomorrow and just sort of shuffle around the local park. That'll be quite good for us. I'm just got to keep it low key and not do further than about 1K at the moment. So, it'll probably be less than that, but we'll see how it goes. I've also, because of where I work, oh my God, I do really do the don't I? I'm going to have to really try and focus, try not to. So working for the NHS, I've got a free 7-day pass for the local gym. So I've booked swimming, a Zumba class and more swimming. So I see I'll get on with that. And then I might or might not join, but I'm not quite sure how I'd fit that all in if I do, but there we go. Arts were going really, really well. Well, let's go with the exercise first. So I've got my gym stuff that I'm doing just for a week. And then I've got my running and the horse riding. Yeah, because I stood on the scales. You'll like this one. So mother says, right, we need to worm the cat. Right, okay. How much does he weigh? I've got some tablets. How much does he weigh? I don't know. I can't weigh him. Right, okay. I said, have you tried standing on the scales and then picking him up and then getting me? He won't let me pick him up. Right, okay. He is not a feral cat and he's quite feisty and quite aggressive, but for some reason he likes me. So I said, right, I'll do it then. So off I went round. I stood on the scales. Okay, when I'd recovered from the shock of how much weight I've put on over Christmas, I found the cat, picked him up, weighed him, put him back. Yeah, he was absolutely fine. Didn't even bother. No scratching or anything like that. Just continued purring. I don't know. He just really likes me. And so at that point, I'm like, right, okay, back to your diet, back to salad, jacket potatoes, etc., etc., etc. And then I thought, well, the running will really help sort of burn some calories off as well. So that'd be quite good. So I'm quite pleased about that. But also, I had a play booked. Unfortunately, that's now clashed with a Burns night. So I'm going to do that instead. But that sounds a lot more fun. And I'm doing that, at some point. I can't quite remember what day that is. It must be the 24th, wasn't it? No, maybe it's not. I don't know. I can't really remember. It possibly might be. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm doing that anyway instead of the theatre trip, whenever the theatre trip was. So I'll have to give the ticket to my next door neighbour, I think, see if she can go on it instead. So that's kind of like my kind of exercise for January. So I've got a plan, is what I'm saying. I have a plan. I might be doing something else as well, but that hasn't happened yet. So I'm just going to have to see what happens with that, and I will let you know if it does come off for the next catch-up month. So what else has been going on? I'm in negotiations to offload the thing that I wanted to offload, but it's a bit tricky, and I don't think I can do it just yet, unfortunately. But I've got a plan for that for a few months' time, because it's always good to have a bit of a plan as to what it is that you're doing. Art-wise, okay, so my plan for art was to do more paintings, which I have been doing. Went to art class last week, did something quite good, and then came back and did something else from a photograph. So I'm starting to do my own compositions now. So that's quite good. And then I've joined 2 art societies. No, it's only 20 quid a year, and they do kind of like different workshops and stuff. I can't remember able to get to quite a few of them, but the thing is, they both do exhibitions in the middle of the year. So I thought, right, okay, I've got something to work to do some fantastic paintings, okay, for these 2 exhibitions, because it's a chance for members to enter the exhibitions. So I'm quite excited about that. So that's kind of progress, really. That was something unexpected that's sort of come out of me trying to find out a bit more information about a message that my art teacher had put on the kind of the what group WhatsApp. So that's quite good. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so what else has been going on? I'm making an effort to befriend the person who was a bit mean to me last year on the WhatsApp group, because at the end of the day, we all kind of going to get on together with what it is that we do. And, she doesn't know me, so I think she probably just misread what I meant by everything. And, so reaching out to people, also making an effort to go hacking with Jane a little bit more, because I didn't see that much of her at the end of last year. And, she says she's borrowing a horse one day in the weekend so we can go out hacking together, which is really, really good. I've also got a plan for my writing. John's going away with his friend for the weekend. So I thought, right, okay, let's see if I can get Jane to do the pony those 2 days and sit down and actually do some writing, which has then turned into do you know what? I've actually got a week's holiday left to take. So why don't you take the 3 days? So actually it's going to be a writing week. So it'll be, literally most of the week, which would be great. I should get quite a lot done then. I should certainly get some of the editing done, but it means I can just focus purely on writing for those days, but maybe an art session as well in there, a couple of art sessions in just to break it all up. But that's fantastic. That's quite exciting. I'm very excited about that because it's something that I kind of, I really, really want to do. Again, no idea what Valentine's Day is yet. Okay. No clue. Not being any clues. We're not going out for dinner or anything like that. I can wear jeans, so I don't know what it is. I'm thinking it's some sort of activity. Maybe we want to walk somewhere. Maybe I need to find out if I need to take my walking boots. It's not in the evening though, because he said it is February. I'm not that cruel. It's like fair enough. Also, I've got a podcast schedule. I've got an idea for all podcasts in February covered, and I'm going to be recording those ASAP as soon as possible. For anybody that doesn't really understand that, which, what planet? You live on planet Zog or something. Because I think everyone knows what that is. But hey, there'll always be somewhere out there that doesn't, won't there? So let me have a look. Yeah, so I've got all sort of sorted out. I've got a plan. I'm quite excited about the plan. I've got stuff sorted out. I think I'm doing UFO and ghost combined one this year. I might have even recorded it. I've certainly written it. I'm not sure where it is. One thing I have to do this year, I'm currently sitting in an office surrounded by boxes and bags and stuff, and it's gone from like a really, really clear, tidy space to a complete sort of disaster. So that is on my list of things I'm going to clear out the office probably this weekend. I'm going to be trying to do it on Saturday morning. I'll see if I've got time. Maybe do it Friday. I don't know. No, I'm not going to have to do it Friday, am I? But anyway, that's it. That's on the plan. I have to clean it up and tidy up. And I'm going to sort of start decluttering as well. I've done my January clothes sort out. Do you guys do that? It's something that I tend to do quite a bit. I've gone through all the clothes that I wore or that are summer clothes that I didn't wear last year. And I'm even chucking out, okay, I've got a dress that I've owned since I last wore it when I was about 18, and I've been thinking I could get into it. But do you know what? I'm never going to get into it again. I'm never going to be that size. It's supposed to be a 16. It's probably equivalent of a size, modern day size 12 now, or 12 and a half. It's going out, guys. I'm getting rid of it. There's another dress as well, evening dress that I've had for years. 20 plus years. I don't need it. That's going out as well. I'm maybe try and sell those two on Vinted though. And that'll be, quite good. I'm also I've sorted out the horse rug situation. I'm going to be selling those. I've got a few horsey other things that need to go as well. So I'm going to get those on eBay or /Facebook, get rid of those. So this is the year for sorting stuff out. You're right. Preparing to move again. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what the future may bring? I'm not moving again. Well, it might be, but we'll see. Well, shall we? We'll see. We'll just see what happens. Just watch this space. Yeah. Don't hold your breath though. And there's no buying of any hats yet either, Jane. So that's how my kind of like session's going. And also I've been really positive. I think it's because I've had things to look forward to. So we did John's birthday, and then we did Mum's birthday, and then I've got, let's say, Burns night. So I've actually, I've had something to look forward to. So I remember listening onto the radio. Oh, it's Blue Monday, worst January and most depressing January of the year, Monday of the year, and I'm like bouncing around the house going, yay, yeah. I do, yeah. My credit card has taken a bit of a dent because that day I did have to get my car serviced and MOT'd, and there's a bit of an issue with the brakes, and also I went into the garage. Well, actually, what actually happened was because the garage where I get my car MOT'd, they've got Pippa's sister Bella, and they don't get on. This is why you should never have two puppies from the same litter. They really don't get on, and so I took Pippa out the car just as Bella was going to get into the van to go and see the dog walker. Yeah. Fortunately, Pippa had a ball in the mark. They had a bit of a set to in the car park. Managed to pull Pippa off. And there was no blood drawn, so that was all okay. But, it's like, hey, you fall out with your sister first thing on a Monday morning. And the garage guy was like, yeah, what's new? Anyway, so to cut a long story short, they kind of I walked in and I said, right. I said, there's definitely a problem with the brakes. They're not quite right. And it's reluctant to get going in the morning. Okay, probably like most people. Anyway, it actually needs a new battery. I was pressing the little stop button and nothing was happening. But now it's all working okay, so that's fine. So that's all good. But I do have a bit of a dent in the credit card, so I'm going to have to really knuckle down and not go off and do too many things that cost quite a lot of money, because there's loads of stuff you can do that don't cost much money. And so I'm going to go and do stuff that hasn't got much money for the next sort of couple of months while I pay off my credit card. And then we'll be kind of cooking with gas to go and do all the other stuff that I kind of want to do. Although obviously I promised myself that I'm not going to overdo it. Yeah, but actually, and to be fair, I'm actually pretty good. I've got a few things in my calendar, but actually I haven't, because I got a message from my partner going, "Oh, I realised I'm booking too many things, and we're in danger of blah blah blah." And I was like, "Well, actually, it's just you, mate, because I've been really good this year." haven't really booked anything, you know. And he's like sitting down working out that he's probably not going to see me for about 3 weeks because he's booked too many things, and then I've got a few things in and they all clash. So yeah, anyway, do you know what? He'll learn. Just let him get on with it. Some women would probably at that stage have a go, but I just sat back and thought he's going to realise very shortly that we're not going to see much of each other. Having said that, we actually want to see quite a lot of each other this year, and I thought there's no point saying anything. This is just how I work. I just thought I'll just let him figure it out for himself. Anyway, he's actually cancelled one of the things anyway. So I just went, so that means I won't see you for 2 weekends then. Okay, that's fine. I'll just arrange something else, no problem. Then he kind of went, oh, I'm not sure. I don't really want that. Oh, right. I might have to reschedule that then. I was like, oh, right, okay, then that's fine. Yeah, you do that. And do you know what? That's the best way to approach these things. You know, some women maybe will have a go going, don't do that. Don't do it. Because you know what? If they really, really want to spend time with you, they'll realise the error of their ways. All you just say is, I'm going to go, oh, right, okay, that's fine. And if you're doing those things, then I'm not going to do that because you're going to be really hungover, or, you know, you're going to be really tired because you've been out late the night before. So I'll do something for myself that weekend. And that's the way to do it. That's the way to handle it. Make them realise that actually you have other things in your life apart from them. And if they're not, and do you know what? And I would suggest that's the way forward, okay, for everybody. Makes life so much easier. You don't get any confrontation. You just go, yeah, okay, that's fine. Then you do that. You do that, darling. You do that. Yes, that's fine. And I'll go and do X, Y, and Z instead. And then, yeah, then just let that sit there, okay, for a couple of days. And then, I've booked X, Y, Z, right? Okay, so that means we won't see each other for a couple of weekends. Okay, that's fine. And just leave it there. And then that's when it was like, okay, do you know what? That's not what I want. I'm going to have to change that, aren't I? That's entirely up to you, dear. It's like, and that's how you do it, guys. It's not rocket science, or girls rather, not rocket science. Doesn't involve any shouting or stropping or tears or anything like that. It's just a kind of like, yeah, okay, you're doing that. That's fine. I'll do something else instead. So you won't see me. You won't see me because I'll be busy because I'm not putting up with you if you're hungover. Or you sit, you fall asleep in front of the TV at 8 o'clock. That's fine. You do that. That's okay. You do that on your own. That's fine. That's no problem. I'm not going to stop you going out with your friends. That's, no, I'm not going to say that. You go out with your friends. You go and do that. I'll do something else. And that's how you do it. That's how it works. It's that simple. You don't need any sort of like aggro and why are you doing this and why are you doing that? And you have to go away and do this. And it's not necessary. There's always a compromise and everything. And I think if you're a woman who is independent and has their own life, then, you don't have an issue with that. And also on top of that, he's like, oh no, I'm arranging all these things and all these events and everything. And I just sort of said, well, that's great. I said, but I'm not arranging too much stuff because actually I want some stuff for me. I'm loving doing my podcast. Hopefully I'm saying a little bit less in this one. Loving doing the podcast. I want to finish my book and I want to do art. And also I've got a plan. I've got another plan as well, but I'm not telling you anyone else about it. My partner knows what it is and we'll work on it and we'll see what happens throughout the year. But it's kind of in my mind to be able to do it by the end of the year. So, but we'll see how it goes. And do some stuff with a pony. And that's it. And that's kind of where I'm at. And it's good. I've evaluated my goals. They're all heading in the right direction. Apart from this next week, to be fair, which is a bit manic. Everything else is looking a little bit not too crazy, actually, which is quite good. So yeah, all good. All fine. And you've learnt how I cope with and how I deal with a guy who's doing too much. And yeah, so that's just my take on it, my take on life. Again, don't like confrontation. I don't do tears. Seriously, come on. Do women actually do that? I know they do, but seriously. It's just there are much better ways to manage the situation. So that's it. That's all done. I have nothing else to say. I'm at 25 minutes in, and I'm also recording this in an evening, actually, after work. And so anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there. Okay, 25 minutes in, I was like, I'm just going to waffle constantly. And see. But one thing actually I should do is I should quickly just evaluate what I'm doing next week. And I've got my writing weekend planned. I've got a couple of art classes planned. I've got the Valentine's Day Keep Free, and then I've got a play in that we're going to see. We're all going to see that, and then I've got some other things I need to do. So actually, it's fairly quiet for me. I think I've done really, really well and not kind of overdone it in February. But when I speak to you at the end of February, we'll just see how I managed it. What happened? Did I get everything in? Because less is more and all that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Hopefully I haven't said as much. I'm going to really try and make an effort not to do that. And have an amazing February, guys. And I've got to record the other ones, so I will catch you next time.